What's going on, everybody, and welcome into the Browns Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, and coming up on the show, we're going to get into not a conspiracy theory, but I'm going to tell you what I actually think is happening between Shedeur and the Browns. We'll talk about the facts, and it'll be honest, so I'll tell you the truth. Then, Cleveland went ahead and cut 21 players. We'll show you who those are. Some of them were surprising. So we'll talk about it, and then I want to hear from you guys which one surprised you. And finally, I'll give some takeaways on the Browns roster after the cuts, and we're going to put out a video of our final 53-man projection too. So you'll want to have notifications turned on and be subscribed so you don't miss that. But also make sure you go ahead and drop a like on this video. Browns fans, we can beat Steelers fans, can't we? Let's show the bosses here at Chat Sports that the Browns Report fans are better than Steelers Talk. They got over 700 likes on their most recent video. Can we beat that here on the Browns Report? Smash that like button right now as we get started. And folks, let's talk about it honestly. I just made a short about this, but let's really dive in with all the facts about what's going on with Shedeur Sanders preseason, and then we can put it to bed. But I started analyzing it, and I get a lot of comments hating on me, saying I was too critical of Gabriel and not critical of Shedeur. Look, I said Shedeur held onto the ball a little bit too long. I said there were places he could have thrown the ball away. But I also watched the entire game, and I'm making analysis based off facts of what happened. So let's get into those. First off, Sanders was pressured on 9 of the 11 times that he dropped back to throw. There were constantly rams in his face. That's not his fault. There were third and fourth string offensive linemen blocking for him. And how do we know that's the case? Well, just Sunday, Cleveland cut 4 of Shedeur's 5 O-linemen that were out there blocking for him. Sebastian Gutierrez, Bucky Williams, Javion Cohen, D'Artagnan Tinsley. 4 of them were out there for Shedeur. And you saw it. He was running around like crazy. Sometimes he used his legs, spun out of sacks, and it's fun to watch him extend. But again, I concede. Other times, Shedeur did hold on to the ball too long, and that was the knock on Sanders coming out of college. But the situation he was put in is unwinnable for a rookie quarterback. And I'm not saying the Browns set it up. Again, I'm not going to go into the conspiracy theories. If you think it is a conspiracy, and you looked at all the facts and you say that, I'm cool with you saying it. But I won't say it here on the show. All I'm saying is any rookie quarterback would have not looked good in that scenario, and Shedeur didn't look good, frankly. But all the factors I just discussed are what led to that. So constant pressure in his face. Yeah, he could have made better decisions on some, but also he's a rookie, and he had no one blocking for him, virtually, it felt like. And the Tyler Huntley argument, let's debunk that right now as well, because Huntley threw a pick on the first play he went out there and was bailed out by a defensive holding penalty. Huntley only completed 1 pass on that field goal drive, and there were 3 defensive penalties in a row to bring Cleveland closer, and then a couple run plays, and boom, field goal through the upright. So I don't know why people are saying Huntley had the same offensive line. Well, Huntley didn't do anything super impressive either. I'm just calling it as I see it, folks. The pressure was in Shedeur's face. He didn't have much help. And again, I'm not saying the Browns did it purposefully. I'm not pushing into that narrative. I'm just saying what I saw. And now it's time to reveal the absolute truth, okay? This is where we can take everybody that loves Shedeur, everybody that hates on Shedeur. It's like politics. It's like Democrats and Republicans screaming at each other. Well, we got to look in the middle here, and this is what I really think is going on. The Browns think Shedeur is a normal QB4. They actually are just giving him normal treatment that they would give to a 5th-round pick, to a quarterback that's 4th on their depth chart. Why everybody's mad is because ESPN experts who, and I understand they can be wrong. I worked with some of them. And people like myself in the media that analyze college quarterbacks, we think Shedeur is a much better talent than he's being treated right now in the NFL. So I didn't think he would be a 5th-round pick. And let's be honest, none of you had Shedeur Sanders being drafted in the 5th round. You at least had him in the top 3. Most people in the 1st round. Some people 1st overall. So the analysts, because of how great Shedeur was in college, think that he should be getting treatment of the first overall pick. But the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, after analyzing everything we've seen, the Browns are just treating Shedeur like a normal fourth string. That's why he's playing with the third and fourth strings. That's why he's fourth on the depth chart. And that's why he only got a start in preseason because of other quarterback injuries. That's the truth. And again, where everybody's screaming at each other is the talent assessment of Shedeur. And I'm not giving up on him. He had one bad game. He's going to get better, folks. And I'm not afraid to say it was a bad game. But I'm also not afraid to tell you all the reasons that contributed to it being a bad game. I think he'll develop. He's a rookie. It was one preseason half. Not even. I think he's going to get better, and I still think he's going to be a future quarterback in the league. I think he's talented. So let's all pump the brakes. Let's relax. A lot went into it. And it's actually Joe Flacco time in Cleveland right now. But I do have to talk about Shedeur. You can't tell me not to talk about him. And I really want to know everyone's confidence level in him right now. Where are we at? Where are we at? Let me know. After the preseason, what you saw from Shedeur, what you know about him. Give me a scale of 1 to 10. Drop a number in the comments of how confident you are Shedeur can be an NFL quarterback going forward. Again, I'm not giving up on him after one preseason game, okay? But that's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Now for some Browns news. Cleveland cut 21 players on Sunday. A couple of them were quite shocking. Let's get into it first. The cornerbacks that they cut. They cut 5 corners. Tony Brown II, one that a lot of people probably had making the 53-man, but Cleveland let him go. Also, Chigozie Anusium, Christian Holmes, Keenan Isaac, and Darius Rush, who we saw get some action. So Cleveland, who's a little bit thin at the corner position, went ahead and cut 5. And Tony Brown, as I said, was one that was surprising to me. He was a guy he's 30 years old now. He's bounced around a lot, played with the Chargers, Packers, Bengals, Colts, Browns, was also on the Raiders practice squad at one point. And in the Browns' 3 preseason games, Brown logged 6 tackles. So wasn't awful, but wasn't special either. I just thought maybe Cleveland would want to have a guy that's a veteran and can play snaps for them in that room because Denzel Ward, amazing as he is, doesn't always stay healthy. And Cleveland's lost Martin Emerson Jr. for the year. So career stats for Brown, you see he has a pick, 4 forced fumbles, 80 tackles, and a sack. So, bounced around. Again, not a super talent in the league, but what I think you're going to see from Cleveland in the next few days now is they're going to go out and get another corner because they cut 5, as I just showed you, and it's a position where they could really use some depth, some bolstering to make noise, right? In 2023, when Cleveland had a really good-looking defense and made a playoff run, they weren't getting lit up. Last year, we saw them get torched in the secondary, big plays over the top. We cannot have that. So I think Cleveland is going to go ahead and make a cornerback move. I'll keep you posted here on the Browns Report when that happens. But that's what I think needs to happen and will happen because they can't roll with the current roster. A lot of offensive linemen got cut as well. I already told you that 4 of them were blocking for Shedeur Sanders in preseason. Well, here's the list of all 8, I believe. 8 total that have been cut. And one note as well about the offensive line room is that Ethan Posick has a knee injury. We don't have word on how serious it actually is. And so when you look at Cleveland's O-line depth chart, it could also use a little bit of help because of health. So I love Joel Bitonio. I love Wyatt Teller. Those guys are all pros in years past. Jack Conklin, also a promising player. And DeJuan Jones is massive. He's not quick necessarily, but no one is going to bulldoze through DeJuan Jones. So Cleveland, I think you'll also see go out and get an external offensive lineman to add to the roster because of, one, health issues that we're already seeing. And I know Luke Weipler is a promising center that could take over. But after him, there's no one else. There's no one else on the depth chart. So I think Cleveland's going to have to go get a few more after they've just cut 7. Defensive line cuts. KJ Henry, this one's interesting. The former Eagle had a pick 6 in the preseason on Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who also just got cut by the Eagles. I saw someone in my comments say, hey, what's one more quarterback? The Browns should bring back DTR. No. No, I got a good laugh out of that one. Also, Titus Leo, who the Browns had just signed very recently. Well, they're letting him go. And Ralph Holley. But this only 3 cuts is actually something that should not worry you at all, Browns fans. The defensive line depth is strong in Cleveland right now. It's something to be fired up about. Not only do they have the best defensive player in the league in Myles Garrett, not only did they draft Mason Graham, but Aiden Huntington officially, we can say, made the 53-man roster, and my goodness, what a preseason from a guy who was once a UDFA. Not only did he play defensive end, ladies and gentlemen, Aiden Huntington started the game at fullback, made a good block. He was a special teamer, made a tackle. And then at the defensive end position, recorded 1.5 sacks against the Rams. He's explosive, he's versatile, he's penetrating gaps, he's following the ball wherever it is on the field. He does not give up on plays. That was something huge we saw. Whoever had the ball, he read, his vision was incredible. He was able to find the running back no matter where they were running off to. Amazing stuff from Huntington. A steal for the Cleveland Browns in the defensive line room. And not only Huntington is there, but Mason Graham, the Michigan man, national title winner. Didn't get a whole lot of snaps in preseason, but when he did, he was fighting through double teams. He was rushing opposite A-gaps, tracking down running backs, making tackles. He almost got a safety for the Browns in the Rams game. Win was literally on like the 1-inch line. They gave it to the Rams, but Graham, in just a few snaps, was impressive. He will be a problem for opposing offensive lines and quarterbacks in the National Football League. Some additional cuts we got to talk about. Tyler Huntley, who I brought up already, was waived by Cleveland. This was another reason that I sort of wished we could see Sanders in a 2-minute drill with the game on the line, because they were going to waive Huntley anyway. And here you go, Cleveland not bringing 5 active quarterbacks into the season. Another one that was surprising on this list is Nick Needham. Also, you see Sal Cannello, who got some good reps in preseason, got cut. Mitchell Van Vuren, Marvin Moody, and Charlie Thomas III. I know a few Browns fans wanted to see Charlie Thomas make the roster, but Cleveland actually does have a lot of linebackers in the room. We're going to talk about that on my roster projection video. But the most surprising one to me out of that list, Nick Needham, a guy that spent his whole career with the Dolphins before and has actually made an impact, especially in his first year in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins try to go get him back, or if Cleveland goes ahead and re-signs him, because he can be an impact in the secondary. You know, career stats, he started 27 games in his life. He also has recorded 6 interceptions and a touchdown. And early in preseason, week 1, Needham picked off Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, as they say, a veteran in this league, made a good play, jumped the passing lane, and I thought, okay, I'm glad we have Needham in the secondary. Well, now, doesn't seem like we will. We'll keep you posted on who the Browns go out and get to help that secondary, because, as I said, they're going to need help there. My last takeaway is we figured Tyler Huntley would get cut, right? There are a little bit too many cooks in the kitchen in Cleveland's quarterback room. It's already surprising that they're probably going to keep 4. We'll talk about that on the next video as well, but there's no way they could have kept Snoop. I know there was people in my comments saying Snoop Huntley should be the backup, right? That he should be in this quarterback competition. Seems like he was just brought in, as I said, to help with injuries, and so Cleveland could actually play other quarterbacks in preseason and not have Shedeur go a full game against the Panthers. So we kind of knew that would happen. No surprise, Huntley's out of there. But I want to know from you people in the comments, which move surprised you the most? Out of all the 21 players that Cleveland went ahead and cut, drop a comment. Tell me who surprised you the most. Like I said, for me, it was probably Tony Brown and Nick Needham. I really wasn't expecting the most. But go ahead. Tell me if you agree, or tell me if you got another name that you really were shocked to see get off the roster at the moment. If you made it to this point in the video, we appreciate you so much here on the Browns Report. Go ahead, follow me on X at Joey070. I just posted a really funny clip of Deshaun Watson making a terrible play last season. If you want to laugh, go check that out right now at Joey070. And stay tuned. Keep your notifications on, because we're coming at you with more Browns news here on the Browns Report. See ya.